Gypsy Rose Blanchard might be the first person in history to go from prison parole to full-on furry influencer villain arc in under 6 months. And baby, this storyline is getting dark and very bizarre. Let's start with the hair. Just weeks ago, Gypsy made a whole video saying she was staying brunette because her hair was so damaged. And it was thinning and breaking off. And she even name-dropped a couple of products that were starting her healing journey. But literally, weeks later, she box dyes it to get lighter. And when I say weeks, maybe like 2. Not professionally, just straight up box bleach. Then after messing it up, she nearly spends over $500 on products and then goes to the mall salon to fix it. That's not self-care. That's content chaos, and she knows it. Not only that, before she unalived her mom, she kept switching up her hair too. While she was in prison and stressed out, she was switching up her hair too. But it gets crazier. While at the mall, she posts a strategic ring photo with a caption, "Can't stop staring." Like we don't know what it is. Clearly it's bait. She's trying to imply that Ken proposed to her without saying he did, while standing in a public store. Like, girl, you think we don't know mall lighting versus proposal vibes? Yeah, that's not the same. Then the next day, sis goes full on sparkle filter, acting like a furry. Ears, hearts, glitter, right after being dragged about talking to minors on Omi TV. Let's pause here. Omi TV is like Omegle. You know that was eradicated. It's unmoderated and known for random weirdness and often underage users and predators. And people caught them talking to kids. And they even subscribed to their YouTube channels. After the backlash, she privatized who she follows on YouTube. And just when you think it can't get any weirder, do y'all remember when Gypsy used to relate herself to Demona? She called herself Demona, the Disney character from Gargoyle, who is literally a manipulative villain, driven shapeshifter? Like, why are you aligning your identity with the literal cartoon villain that does awful things? That's not empowering. That's foreshadowing. This isn't a glow up. It's calculated rebranding built on confusion, baiting, and blurring the lines of boundaries. Okay. Hair chaos, bait ring, furry cosplay after talking to kids. Really? This is what happened when public figures don't have accountability and they're able to monetize on this mess and call it healing. And if she keeps leaning into these characters and curated stunts while sidestepping real conversations, that's not growth. That's a performing art.
For the virgin hair. So I'm going to use 1 scoop on each side. So I'm going to take my 20. And I'm going to use the same measuring cup because it is considered 1 ounce. So I'm going to make the right side, I will make my 20, and for the left side, I will make my 30. Consistency. I really don't know how much I'm going to need on my hair, so that was strong. I should have bought 2 whisks. Man, that is strong. That smells like bleach. Okay, and so since I don't have another whisk, I'm just gonna have to improvise and use the bag. Sorry for this one. It's just not as helpful, but it's still kind of working. Yeah, note to self, probably needed 2 whisks for this. But still. Yeah? Oh, you taking a bath? Okay. Alright. It's still working out. It's not quite as creamy. So longer to mess it up. Help with breakage. Oh gosh. Okay. If you're wanting help with breakage, that helps a lot. So I got Olaplex number 5 Bond Maintenance Conditioner. Of course, you need these. This is going to help when I'm doing my root melt, so that would be so I can drag it through. Place my little separation clips. And last but not least, my wrap. So I knew I needed a cape, so there's that. And then some other stuff is like little freebies that they gave me at the store. So, all right. So that's all the stuff that I bought. Like I said, I don't have any cosmetology experience, but I have gone to the salon a lot, and so I do know kind of the process of what it takes to do a balayage. I'm just doing it at home, and so we'll see how I do. I'm nervous. If it's a disaster, I'll just go to the salon and get it fixed. But anyway, okay, time to prep. Okay, I just want to put a full disclaimer that I am not a licensed professional, and I'm completely doing this as a do-it-yourself project. Here we go. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is section my hair off into 4 quadrants. Separate. This will be fun.
Oh, it's tea time with Nina, and this is about to get juicy. So I need you guys to sit down, grab your drink, and let's talk. Now, this is where the Gypsy Rose story gets a bit sinister. So Gypsy Rose's ex-neighbor that used to live next door to her when she was younger messaged me. I want to read this to you. I'm going to disguise her name because she asked me to, but a lot of people will kind of already know who she is that have really been following the story. She says, "Hi, Nina. I've been following you since the Gypsy rival started. I grew up with Gypsy. In fact, my sister is an unknown name, did an interview in the documentary that came out shortly after she was arrested. I don't want my name anywhere or any attention whatsoever. I just want to tell you I appreciate you making her take accountability. There were numerous times that Gypsy and my brother and myself were left alone for hours, and Gypsy never peeped a word about what was going on, never asked for help, never attempted to run away. I also tried to get her to break the rules. One being to make her own Facebook account without telling her mom. She refused. Later, she did make a Facebook, and instead of reaching out for help, she reached out to my sister and asked her opinion on which boys she should date. I want to make it very clear that she had numerous opportunities to ask for help and numerous opportunities to run away, but never did until she was able to fully convince a man with mental health disorder to unalive her mother. She has zero problems with the amount of money and the amount of experience she got from pretending to be sick until she wanted some sausage. My family is poorly portrayed as white trash in the act, which is far-fetched. My mom is the one who started the search party after Gypsy made the post on the shared Facebook account. My mom walked through the window and went towards Didi's bedroom, but couldn't bring herself to walk completely in. Later, we found out that Didi was in there, under the blankets, deceased. They turned the air on in the house as high as they could before leaving to prevent Didi from smelling. It worked. It was premeditated and evil. Though nobody should be forced to participate in pretending to be sick, there's no excuses to brutally unalive someone and profit off of it while a mentally disabled person is stuck in prison due to your manipulation, especially because she had chances without unaliving her mom. I asked her, "Do you feel Gypsy was physically abused?" She said, "I never witnessed anything, and she was always in a wheelchair. She never had a blanket on her legs, so if there was some bruising or anything, I would have seen it. I will say, though, she 100% had a feeding tube that you could see was inside of her body, like surgically placed. She was always bald and wearing either a ball cap or a wig. Diddy was a large woman, and personally, I don't think she could physically do much damage beating-wise and not have it visible. I asked her if she saw my YouTube video breaking down, the chromosome disorder, and she said, I haven't seen it. Is it under your username? I said, I'll send you the link, and I sent her the link. And she said, I'm going to watch it right now. She said, I saw the interrogation videos and was in awe. Like, come on now. Oh, at this time, I asked her, was it okay to share this? And she said, that's fine by me. I just don't want my family or my name involved. Like I said, I tried to steer away from anything to do with her because of how far-fetched everything is from the truth. I don't have a public platform, but I previously made a post on Facebook which got taken down. The people in the city definitely don't see the situation how I see it, aside from all of us that were actually involved with them directly. We were all blindsided. And then when the act came out and the documentary came out about my mom and my sister, had a ton of people, still have a ton of people, constantly reaching out for interviews and just asked questions about it. My mom and Didi were super close, so she 100% feels betrayed and also chooses not to speak on it or be involved in any way. I said to her, I hate the fact that your family was portrayed like that. She said, honestly, I giggled about it because it shows how little research before they started making the show. I was a minor when it all happened, so I had little to no social media presence at all, so nobody but our neighborhood knew that was my family until the media pieced things together and knew it was an unknown name and was an unknown name. I mainly felt bad for my mom because the entire time she wanted to be separated from the entire incident because she was so close to Didi and would have never guessed anything like this was happening or would have happened. I asked her, do you feel like Didi embellished her issues? She said, absolutely. But honestly, up until she started doing interviews and publicly speaking about it, I really thought she was abused and we somehow missed it. But her showing zero remorse and even kind of mocking the situation in some of her interviews, in my opinion, she shed light on the fact that it was definitely not what she was making it out to be. Plus, my memory of her legitimately having a good childhood despite of medical conditions, when I say before that she did not want for anything, she wholeheartedly had it all. The only thing she didn't have was intimate relations with boys. To me, now that seems like it was her motive, and her relationship issues constant with men while she was incarcerated currently shows that, and that is the only thing she's concerned with. Now, as far as your video, I 110% agree. Everything they gained financially and non-financially was directly awarded to Gypsy. For instance, with some of the money, Didi literally transformed their shed into a Star Wars themed playhouse for Gypsy and completely decked it out with everything Star Wars. Gypsy got to meet all her favorite famous people regularly and regularly had trips to Disneyland, World, and Resort. Didi was constantly taking her to every new movie premiere. At the time, she was a huge Harry Potter fan, and when I tell you they went to every single premiere, Gypsy literally didn't want for anything. This is from her neighbor's own mouth, exactly how she feels about the situation and what's transpired. I'm going to bring up the doctor that a lot of people speak about in reference to Didi having Munchausen by proxy, because as we know, she was never diagnosed with Munchausen by proxy, and it was alleged after Gypsy was caught and as a defense for her. But let's speak about this doctor. This is Dr. Mark Feldman. He's an Alabama-based psychiatrist who's studied fictitious disorders, and he knows a lot about Munchausen by proxy, which he calls medical child abuse, which I believe that's what it is as well. Now, he mentions Feldman has never examined Gypsy Blanchard, but said that based off of the known facts in her case, he feels comfortable in his opinion that she was the victim in the long-running medical child abuse scenario perpetrated by her mother, who was found unalive at a ab wound in June 2015. Now, one of the reasons why I felt like it was important to mention this to you all is because this is the doctor that she refers to a lot, and the fact that he's made it clear that he has not actually examined her. So, like I said in the past, a lot of this is a story that she's told. Nobody's verified it, and nobody's done their research, even this documentary by Lifetime. I just want to share this with you guys so you guys actually have the real opinions and know what actually happened. I've lived a lot of life in the last 5 years. 5 months. It's felt like 5 years because, I came out balls to the wall. But I definitely feel very old. Some days I feel like I'm 13 and some days I feel like I'm 84, but I definitely feel my age. And quite honestly, I didn't mean to cheat on Ryan. Quite honestly, I just, Kenny's my person. I feel like ponies. Kind of like Genuine riding my pony. We're just ponies. He's my pony, I'm his pony. Any days I'm having a bad day, like who we shall not name, his birthday. I call him, he comforts me, he tells me the right things to say. Ryan and I are part of our, well, not all of it, but, you know, our relationship, like, it was affected by social media. You know, you can't change people's opinions, especially, I mean, you know, the public. And I've had to learn that I can't change everyone's opinion. And I have to live with the fact that, you know, some people don't like me. And, you know, it's the people that enable me that really matter, you know? If you don't enable me, it's, you know, you're a hater, you know? And I understand that, and I can understand that. You know, I'm a regular person. You know, when I'm at home, I feed my dog, my dad and my stepmom, well, my mom, you know, they're close. And then, you know, we go sailing sometimes with my dad. Like, I help him with that. You know, sometimes, like, we just, you know, we just hang out and we watch chick flicks on the, you know, my stepmom and my mom and I, we watch chick flicks, you know. And at the end of the day, you know, I did love Ryan, but I feel a different type of love with Ken. You know, I really feel a different type of love with Ken. And we have a long history. Yeah, a really, really long history, you know. And he's my person, you know. Um, and like, that's just what it is, you know. I don't know if marriage is in the cards. It may happen tomorrow, it might not. But you know, just living me quite, you know, quite honestly. Um, um, I I just want people to know that even though I'm in the public view, um, I want you guys all to know um, that what I did 8.5 years ago, it doesn't really matter, but you guys shouldn't do it. You know, it wasn't okay, but you know, she was a perpetrator. And I don't want you to label me as a victim, but I am a victim. But I don't want you to label me that. And I don't want you to label me as a perpetrator either. Even though, you know, I idolized my mom and I wasn't in danger. And, you know, I have been telling the media all of these, you know, dishonest truths. I want you guys to know that I'm a real person at the end of the day, you know, and you know, I know that I have a lot of like young influence, you know, my influences around the younger generation. Like I know that, and I don't want them to do what I've done. It's not okay. But you know, life is good, and I'm gonna keep living. You know, I'm gonna keep doing me. You know, and that's just what it is. At the end of the day, I'm gonna keep living. I'm gonna keep going, and you know, I'm not gonna worry about what my haters have to say. I can't change their mind, and I've tried to change their mind. But no matter what I do, they're not going to. And I wish you know, the public would understand that, you know, we're still alive, you know. I was chained like a dog to my mom's car, you know. And I mean, I wasn't, but that's the story I told. And I feel like they should believe that, you know. Like the fact that people are trying to say that I'm not the victim is kind of like what the issue is to me. Because I'm very much the victim. I mean, I don't want you to label me as one. What I'm saying is that something was done wrong to me, and the perpetrator's not here. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I mean. But, I mean, I'm wrong. I mean, I'm not wrong. Like, I did what I had to do. But I don't want other people to do it. You know? But that's just kind of what I'm feeling. You know? Um, and I'm just gonna live my life. You know, down here in the Bayou. Yeah.
You know what's funny is like in the show, Ken said he'd catch a charge for Aurora. I knew he was a catcher. I knew it.
Why do I never know what direction you're going with these?
I knew it.
You're gonna get us in trouble. And don't forget about it. Don't worry
I've
about
been
it.
holding on to that one for a while. Just for the record. And you were the perfect person to drop that one on.
I got you.
Knew it.
I'm here for you.
Yeah. When he said that in the show, I was like, knew it.
Got him. Aha.
Aha. Caught him.
We got you, Ken.
Yeah. Some bitch. Sorry, I need to quit. You know, he called me a petty ass bitch like 3 times in the show. Called me a petty ass bitch.
We've met him.
Excuse me? Say what?
I wouldn't be that offended. Don't worry about it.
Like, I was
It's
just
Ken
like,
saying it.
I know, but when he said, I was like, I'm a petty ass bitch. Like, like, are you serious?
I'll be honest, I might have unfairly judged Todd Chrisley. When he said the feds got effed, I thought it was about arrogance. But when I heard what he said about the justice system, now I think I see it a little bit differently. But just hear me out. While he was serving time at Pensacola Federal Prison Camp, Todd said he noticed a major difference in how Black inmates were being treated in comparison to him. He said young Black men were constantly being denied access to self-betterment programs he was allowed into with no issue. And he even admitted, you know why, I wasn't denied that. So when he said the feds got effed, maybe it wasn't him being cocky. Maybe it was him calling out a broken system, one that dishes out harsh consequences based on race and class. It doesn't excuse everything, but it does give more context to that comment and more weight than I gave it before, or even gave him credit for. Honestly, I think this shows growth. He got a second chance, and instead of him running to the cameras, he's speaking out about what he saw behind bars. Because if someone with privilege is using their platform to say, hey, this system is unfair, we need to listen. Stay tuned, stay seated, and stay ready, because the tea pouring never stops. And sometimes the real growth comes after the headlines. So, Todd Chrisley, if you see this, which you probably won't, I think I judged you unfairly. And I'm sorry.
Diddy's legal team tried to redact Biggie's murder out of court documents yesterday. Yes! Like it was a typo in a group project. Like, just can you take that out real quick? The judge declined it, but meanwhile, Trump is saying, I might pardon him. This trial isn't a case. It's an HBO series with no script and no supervisor. It's getting buck wild out here. This man is on trial for sex trafficking. His assistant said he threw spaghetti at her. Kid Cudi's car was firebombed. And now Trump is offering him a pardon? And they want to redact Biggie's murder? Are we in a courtroom or a crossover episode of the Boondocks and Law and Order? Diddy's on trial for stealing everything but the moon. And now his lawyers are like, let's just delete that part where Biggie got murdered. Trump's over there like, I might pardon him. Y'all, this ain't a trial. This is a fever dream with subpoenas. And did y'all see what Ray J said on TMZ? He said he's been with Diddy for years and he's never seen this behavior. So you mean you're dismissing all the victims? Ray J was probably doing the same thing too. This is a video of Diddy attending Kim Porter's funeral. I want you to really pay attention because he looks very nervous, like something's not right. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. It's just giving so odd to me. I also saw a video where they were showing that the Combs girls, the first day they ever posted was the day that their mom passed. And they showed both dates. It was hard to download that video, but that kind of blew me. I don't know. I just wanted to show you guys this because this really blew me. But this other stuff that y'all are about to see is really going to shock you. Diddy cannot be trusted. I want y'all to watch this next clip because this is Ray J and it's just giving weird. Why is he constantly defending Diddy? Something ain't right about this. Y'all tell me what you think.
And I feel like it's becoming a circus act for stuff that doesn't make any sense for what Diddy's being charged for. I mean, there's a lot of bad things happening and we all agree with that. But a RICO, racketeering, sex trafficking, like I've been with Diddy a long time. And if I haven't seen any of these kind of heinous acts happening, then where was I when it was happening? If you told me that the Kardashians was being charged for racketeering, I might believe it. But Diddy, sex trafficking and all these other extra things, like it's to me, knowing him, knowing the situation, being around with most of the people that's testifying, you know, I just feel like there's somebody at the top who's making a statement, who's making a point. I'm sure Diddy got the point. Free Diddy, he got the point. He's chilling now.
That's not how it works.
I mean, man, I know I get it, but I'm just keeping it real. Like, it's not okay to throw something extra on a man when the charges could have been something totally different.
Yo, the hip hop world just turned into a political thriller.
50 Cent said he's planning to speak to President Trump about Diddy's possible pardon. Yes, you heard that right. Diddy is currently on trial for serious charges, including ex-trafficking, racketeering, and Trump hinted that he may consider a pardon if asked. 50 Cent responded on Instagram saying he said some really bad things about Trump. I'm going to reach out so he knows how I feel about this, baby. Trump mentioned he hasn't been following this trial closely, but would look into it if approached. Y'all, you know that man know everything that happened because they done had pictures together. And you know, I'm sure Diddy got some tea. I'm just saying, maybe, allegedly. Is this about justice or is this personal? Remember, 50 Cent and Diddy has had beef for years. What do you think? Should personal history influence presidential decisions? Let me know in the comments. Mia is back on the stand, and Diddy's legal team is doing the absolute most to discredit her. They pulled out texts, a dream about R. Kelly, and even asked her if she told Cassie to stay with him. But Mia, baby, she held her ground. We're now on week 4 of the Diddy trial, and Mia, his former assistant, is in the middle of a brutal cross-examination. The defense is trying everything to make her look inconsistent, but it's giving more desperation than damage control. Mia previously testified that Diddy sexually assaulted her, controlled her movements, and created a hostile environment that she was forced to work in, with no rest, no privacy, and no autonomy. One incident involving her begging to attend her grandmother's funeral, he allegedly made her feel guilty for even asking. The defense asked her why she didn't even leave if things were so bad. Mia said it was confusing and she was actually let go, then called back. She described the situation as mentally and emotionally manipulative. Diddy's lawyer even quoted him saying he'll only remember the good times, and Mia just nodded. That silence was louder than any objection. They showed the court Christmas messages from Mia to Diddy saying, "Merry Christmas, I love you," and a bizarre message in 2019 where she said she dreamed of Diddy saving her from R. Kelly. Yes, R. Kelly. The defense tried to use these messages to argue that Diddy couldn't have been that bad, but Mia responded by explaining the cycle of abuse and manipulation. She kept a friendly relationship out of fear and survival, not affection. When the defense tried to play the 2013 video of Mia wishing Diddy happy birthday, the judge shut it down immediately. He said, "You haven't laid down the foundation. Take the video down." Later, the video was allowed, but the vibe still tense. The judge isn't playing. Then it got messier. Diddy's lawyer asked Mia, "Did you tell Miss Ventura she needed to stay with Mr. Combs?" Mia said, "I don't remember that." They also accused her of writing that Diddy was misunderstood. The prosecution objected, and the judge told them to rephrase that. They clearly are trying to plant doubt, but they're struggling to land an actual punch. This whole thing is screaming classic defense strategy and picking apart the victim, twisting the timeline and weaponizing her trauma against her, which to me is just horrible, and I don't know how an attorney could do that. But Mia's testimony hasn't cracked, and she's explained that abuse isn't just physical, it's emotional as well. Not just emotional, it's manipulative and layered with fear. Friendly texts don't cancel out years of mistreatment. So now we wait. The defense is throwing everything they got, but the evidence, the testimonies, and the patterns keep stacking up. This isn't just a trial, it's a reckoning. We've got some heartbreaking news out of Rihanna today, and this one hits differently. Rihanna's father, Ronald Fenty, passed away at the age of 70 after a brief illness. TMZ confirmed the news earlier today, and sources say that he died in Los Angeles with his family by his side, including Rihanna herself. Now, for those of you that don't know, Rihanna and her father had a very complicated relationship over the years. They had public fallouts, legal issues, and some real pain. But they also found a path to healing together. And in 2023, Ronald was gushing to the press about how proud he was to become a grandfather again when Rhea announced her second pregnancy. He was more than a public figure's dad. He was a part of her journey, her struggles, and her growth. And for the fans who have followed her from the very beginning, you know how much her music shaped her. The fire she had inside and her strength was shaped by surviving that family dynamic. Death doesn't always come with the perfect closure. Sometimes it comes while people are still rebuilding, still forgiving, still learning each other. But it sounds like Rihanna had the chance to say goodbye. And that matters. So today, we send love to the Fenty family. Whether you're a casual listener or a diehard Navy soldier, take a second today
to hold your people close to you. Life is fragile, but love, real love, makes people possible. Rest in peace, Ronald Fenty. And Rihanna, if you ever see this, our hearts are with you.